We couldn't find anywhere to camp last night, so for the first time we ended up camping next to, that's a graveyard up there.
Let's leave everything and go traveling. See what tomorrow brings. It's only a choice away. Let's back up and leave today. Let's see what tomorrow brings.
So we were free from the mud and we decided to check out Vilcabamba. It's a little town with a big expat community, mostly hippies seeking the secret to a long life. And today was Carnival, so we thought we would check it out before making camp. We walked around, then grabbed a drink and just people watched, one of my favorite pastimes. Things were still being set up for the evening's festivities, but the kids of course weren't wasting any time, and the water fight had already begun. We had been forewarned in Cuenca if we walked around any town during Carnival to make sure all electronics were somewhere safe, as you would most likely get soaked and sprayed with foam while walking around. Luckily, the kids were all very respectful and just soaked each other, not us. It was fun to pop in and get a very small taste of Carnival before heading for camp.
The float for Carnival. This is the second day of Carnival. I think it starts Friday night.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it ends like Tuesday or something.
Yeah, it ends on Tuesday, Fat Tuesday. We're not that into it, so we're gonna go camp remotely up in the mountains, and I'll have one of my delicious beers that we bought in Cuenca.
It was hilarious too, like the town square, that as soon as the big speakers came on for the whole like town square, they had like a stage set up.
Yeah.
And it was like Daft Punk. That's what they were playing.
Yeah.
Really loud Daft Punk.
There's no such thing as competition.
Here's our little campsite for tonight. As you can see, it's just a random big flat area, and the road's like over that direction. Nice and hidden from the road, and outside, just outside of Vilcabamba, not too far, maybe 30 kilometers outside of Vilcabamba. And we're having steak and potatoes for dinner tonight.
And a little pepper.
And you want to show us the steak?
I would love to show you the steak.
This camp was so peaceful. We actually spent 2 nights here. We were only a few hours from the Peru border now. So we planned to get up early and make it to the frontera before 11 a.m. We like to get to crossings as early in the day as possible. That way, if there's a big line, some sort of holdup, or it just takes a long time to get all the paperwork in order, we have plenty of time. Plus, after we cross, we want to get a ways into the country, because generally border towns are places we want to spend as little time as possible. The road to this border was very bad, all dirt, full of washouts, giant ruts, and even some angry bulls. I imagine it would take quite a lot of time and effort to get something like a sprinter up this road.
We're getting gas. This is the last gas station before we hit the border in Peru. And we've been on tiny little dirt roads for probably about 2 hours now. We got up early this morning to make it to the border. So wish us luck. Alright, we made it to the border and we're checking out of Ecuador right now. Everyone is super friendly, and this is probably the smallest border crossing we've been to so far.
Because of this border's remoteness and inaccessibility, there were no money changers or the ever-annoying helpers. It felt very safe. Just some friendly employees. Each of them shook our hand and asked if we had enjoyed Ecuador. I think they were excited to have something to do. So it was a pretty sleepy little place, which is my favorite kind of border. Next up was checking into Peru. On this side, everyone was just as excited to see us. Both the immigration and customs officers had traveler's stickers on their desks, so we happily added to their collection as we waited.
We made it into Peru.
Yeah, we did. And it was awesome. It's like the friendliest border staff and just in general. Hasta luego!
All right, we made it to Peru, and we made it by 11:30. It was a really fast border crossing.
Yeah.
There was no one in front of us, so we just walked in and were able to do everything.
What do you think? The whole process, 20 minutes,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Both sides.
Yeah.
Ecuador, the guy was listening to Metallica, a
Yeah.
couple of young guys, so they were really cool. And then you turn in your temporary import permit. You cross a bridge, and then you walk into the office. The first guy does your passports. We asked for 183 days, which will give us enough time to do everything we want in Peru, and time to go home. And then the other office, he gave us sort of the vehicle-related paperwork, and it was just, they were so polite, so kind. I don't know, I was taken aback.
It was the best border crossing, the easiest and the friendliest by far.
The whole trip, that was the best border crossing. But yeah, so it was great. I mean, I can't believe how fast and easy it was. No fee, zero money exchanged.
Yeah, I was just blown away by how nice everybody was, because usually people are a bit grumpy at the border.
So we're in Peru, and we don't know what's next. We've got some ideas of where we want to head, but we haven't, true to form, we haven't really planned it much. I have just pins. I'm gonna head for the first pin, and if we see something or hear about something cool on the way, we'll deviate. So.
Woo, we're in Peru. First stop in Peru is in the first little town called San Ignacio to get some insurance, because it is you have to have insurance in this country, and you can't get it at the border, or at least at that border that we went through. So Tim is running into, it looks like a bank where they also sell this insurance, to see if we can get some, and then we will officially be totally legal for the country. We're also stopping at an ATM, and I think Tim already got cash, but so we have some sol is what they use in Peru. And that's it for now. So we'll see what happens when he gets back to the car, see if he's successful or not. San Ignacio cannot sell us insurance for international vehicles.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's just a policy change, because there's plenty of reviews on Ireland of people getting insurance here in the past, but not in the last, what do you think, year and a half. It seems like they all say
Yeah, they can't get it.
They wouldn't sell it to me, so we had to try, because
We're going through the town anyways.
yeah, we're going through the town, and then you don't want to have an excuse for the police officer, because they'd like to, if they're corrupt, I mean, they'd like to get money from you, but if you give them a reason, then they really feel justified and say, hey, I'm letting you go for $20, you ran through the stop sign, or you don't have insurance. So we want to get it soon, just so there's not a reason or an excuse for anyone to hassle us. But I think it's going to have to be tomorrow in this next big town. It's still a few hours away.
That night, we headed up a mountain road to hopefully find a place to camp. Good morning. We just woke up. It's bright and early. We couldn't find anywhere to camp last night. So for the first time, we ended up camping next to, that's a graveyard up there, which is kind of creepy, but it was about the only lonely hill around here. So we're gonna leave early this morning, trying to make sure we don't
make someone mad. But look at this view. It's so pretty here. Peru has already been just such different views. We were driving through as we came in, all the rice paddies and yeah, it's just really neat. So even though we camped at a graveyard, it was still such a pretty place. This morning we're trying to get into town the back way, so we just stopped and asked the locals if this road actually is a road that goes through. They said it was, so here we are.
You can see it switchbacking down to the river, but it gets so slight that I thought, I wonder if you get to the river and there's not a bridge and it's not like a river where you could drive across. It looks like a canyon. So you never know. I mean, we might still get down there and like, yeah, you can get across. We didn't say the car, but I think we'll be good. I think they meant that you can drive across. I was trying to make sure of that, but I guess we'll find out. But it's a cool little road, muddy little nothing road, and I think this is all coffee, isn't it?
Yeah, looks like it, yep. This road is like sketchier than the trampoline road that we went on, as far as being skinny and narrow and like there's muddy. No guardrails or anything like that. But it's the other drivers that are not the factor on this road.
Yeah, I mean, if we see a car, it could be a really long backup, but it'll probably be one car if we see any. And I can just tell by the tracks that it looks like 90% are
motorcycles, yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that a car rarely takes this, which still makes me worried about the bridge at the bottom, but you know, that's where that giant auxiliary tank is nice because we've got a lot of gas. So if we do have to come all the way back up, it's gonna kill most of our day, but at least we know we can do it.
Well, eventually we made it to and across the bridge we were worried about. Thank you for coming along into Peru with us. Join us next time as we learn more about Peru and their road work.
A little bit foamy. It's good beer though. So premium Czech lager, there's no Czechs involved in the brewing of this. It's actually brewed in Cuenca, a little town in Ecuador. Oh, don't get angry, fella. What are you waiting on?
Tim is just the sun right now. What was I gonna say? I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it, but
Jane.
Jane. It's like Jane, but
yeah,
not Huabal or something like that.
Yeah. We've got that going for us.